So you are welcome to my healthy food place, where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. And today, we're talking about high blood pressure, not on the high side of it, details, but on the healthy foods, the common healthy foods to help you, common healthy foods and tips to help you to manage your blood pressure. It is very surprising that a lot of people still complain of elevated blood pressure. There's all the healthy foods, herbs, spices all over the place. A lot of people still complain that their blood pressure is not coming down, that they're having problem with high blood pressure. The obvious reason, I think, is knowledge. So that is the essence of today's message. Because when knowledge is not there, even if you have the best of the foods around you, you will still not benefit from it unless someone tells you about it or someone educates you. That is exactly what I'm here to do, to help educate us a little bit, to enlighten us a little bit more on the ways that we can manage our blood pressure. In case you don't have high blood pressure, but you are in your 50s or your 60s, you need to start listening to messages like this so that you can, apply it and prevent the blood pressure, because prevention is always better than cure. And so I have already prepared some of these. A lot of us are already familiar with some of them, but some of the foods are actually intended to, clean up the arteries. Some of the foods are intended to oxygenate the blood. I have been reading some comments on various platforms about people saying their blood pressure is not responding, saying their blood pressure, their medications are no longer, giving effect and all that. And the obvious reason to me is because they have not come to the knowledge, understanding of what it requires. There are too many herbs around. There are too many seeds. Too many herbal remedies that it will be, surprising to hear someone saying that it's having problem with the high blood pressure. It may be that knowledge is what is missing. You don't have to. Very, very simple. We have foods, but it's not just herbs, it's not just medications that you need. And that is where some are getting it from. So if you are relying on only medications to tone down, to handle your blood pressure, my dear, you may be disappointed. And then you're also relying on one particular herb, like soursop leaves. Soursop leaves is very great when it comes to managing high blood pressure. Most of the things I'm saying are things tested, used on people with blood pressure 200 and above, and all of that. And it was, brought down to normal without any medication. So, but then, without any medication, but then, you have to also understand the things that your body is looking for. When you place the wrong herb, your body is asking for something else, and you're taking the wrong herb or wrong remedy. It doesn't matter what you take. It's not going to work. It's important to know what is missing in your body, what is missing in your diet. And so we know that I am telling you that foods like soursop leaf is very good in it. But then you cannot just go home with soursop leaves alone and be drinking only soursop leaves. Over time, your body will start like getting fed up of the soursop leaves. You need other information to help your body. Your body needs other nutrients. If it is low oxygen that is in your blood, if you need foods like beetroot, there are specific food, there are specific herbs for specific function or purpose in the body. And that is why I decided to come this life. Because when I read comments about, this one, say, comment, I mean, on other people's posts, and when I read comments, I get worried, because knowledge is what is missing. The herbs are there. So, for instance, the first thing you need to know about blood pressure is that there are certain things. If you see someone that is grossly overweight, it's already at risk. So you get to, thank you, my dear, you get to know the things that predisposes you to high blood pressure. There are certain factors that can predispose you, make you be at risk. And I've told us, if you are grossly overweight and you're already in your 50s, my dear, start working to lose weight. Don't say enemy or anything. If you are weighing more than 100 and you are already above 50, start working to lose weight. You may be taking medication for high blood pressure, but I tell you, simple losing of weight may be all that you need, even without medication. It's something I know. So if you are overweight and you are already getting older, you're a mature adult, work hard to lose weight before the weight begins to attack you with the other diseases. So before it begins to attack you with other problems like high blood pressure. Now, if you are also taking to a wrong diet, eating indiscriminately, like you eat fried food, you eat processed food, you eat canned food. When you are eating like this way and you get to that age, like 45, 50, if you don't stop it, my dear, too many acids in your body. If you are taking too much caffeinated teas, you could be taking it as a young man or as a young lady, but no problem. But when you start getting to certain age, your body starts getting more sensitive. It could start giving you high blood pressure. And if you are not managing high blood pressure, it's better to avoid it by reducing the caffeine in your food. The caffeinated teas, you need to reduce it to the barest minimum. Once in a long while, or else high blood pressure may soon start knocking on your door. I'll also tell you, some people say it runs in some families. Well, that may be true, but honestly speaking, okay, you're asking what age to avoid more coffee. When each time we talk of caffeine, you start talking of coffee. It's not only coffee that contains caffeine. We have bitter cola with a lot of other naturally occurring this thing, but you do not have to avoid coffee completely. If you love coffee, once in a long while, I take coffee once in a while. I'm over 60. Once a while, when I know that I need coffee, I go for it. But it's not a habitual tea that I take or 3 times a day or no. But I know it's part of my diet because coffee supports liver function. Coffee helps to reduce depression. A lot of things that it does. It raises your antioxidant. It boosts your metabolism. It supports your colon health. And so when we say caffeine, a lot of people tend to look like the thing is poison, that coffee is poison. Real coffee is not poison. If you take it moderately, because what we believe here is that moderation should be the rule. Look at me. I take coffee once in a while. I enjoy coffee. I know when I need it and I go for it. And I don't have any issue with high blood pressure. I don't have any issue. It's when you make it habitual. With other caffeinated teas like black tea, it's not only coffee. In fact, black tea is even worse. I tell you the truth, black tea is worse. And so, what I'm saying is that you need knowledge. Yes, I'm talking about black coffee. Yes, I take it once in a while. I add dates. If you like to add honey, fine. If you don't have a good quality honey, you stay off it. But I use dates because dates is a bit mild and it's a seed. It's good for blood pressure too. The dates fruit, or I use date powder as a matter of fact. The date fruit contains nutrients, potassium, and the rest of it. It's one of the best fruits for high blood pressure. And so when you are taking something like coffee, you can add dates to it. You can just put your knowledge to work. Things that helps with blood pressure if you are afraid of it. Yes, it has iron, yes. But you don't have to put too much of it. I know what you are talking, because what you are trying to raise is, I'm aware that when you combine caffeine with iron, it may reduce the absorption. But we're not talking of absorption here. We are taking just little as a sweetener. So we are not trying to raise iron. When you are trying to raise the iron level in your body, then you'll be afraid that the caffeine may impair the purpose or defeat the purpose. So when you are just adding a little to help to bring out the taste, it doesn't do any harm. So that's it. So I'm saying that you do not wait until the high blood pressure starts before you start taking precaution. You do not have to wait for headache before you start running to doctor, because the doctor you are going to is a human being. There are certain things you can do for yourself, and so those things you can do is to live a healthy life, maintain a healthy body weight, for instance. Then reduce your stress level as you age. Then reduce the caffeine in your diet. Reducing the caffeine, reduce the processed foods, the foods that contains trans fat. If you've been frying your chicken, your sweet potatoes, you stop the fries. If you want to prevent and avoid high blood pressure, you stop the fries. And then if you have been taking too much of processed foods, because they come with sodium, sometimes the cause of high blood pressure varies from one person to another. But most things that are often neglected is that the imbalance between sodium and potassium in most cases are the cause of some people's high blood pressure. Whereas the potassium ought to be higher in ratio, when you are consuming too much of processed foods, cakes, bread, all those things that comes with sodium, over time, the imbalance, because I have said before that there is always an imbalance in our body when what we call sickness in most cases are not actually sickness, is just an imbalance or acidic buildup or excess toxins. If you remove these three, there will almost be no disease in your body. So when you create that imbalance in your body by consuming too much of processed foods that are preserved with poison, so if the sodium becomes high and the potassium is lower, you will be having high blood pressure. Because I have heard people commenting, oh, my meds are no longer working, this and that. It could be this singular problem of still consuming processed foods, highly processed food that come with sodium. And all this sodium, once the sodium is higher than the potassium in your body, there's nothing medication will do for you. The medication can't balance it for you. It can help you reduce the symptoms, but you need to do a balance and take out the processed foods. And so if you are managing high blood pressure, you need to stop the processed foods, reduce it highly. Okay, you are talking of, yes, if you are trying to take bananas, yeah, you need to also take it in moderation, because banana is high in calorie. Depending on the size of the banana, one banana a day is okay. You know that high potassium too has its own. You know, the kidney does not like too much potassium. That we are not going there now. So everything must be in moderation. That is what I talk about on my channel. That it's a slogan that moderation is our rule. Because if you say, okay, I start taking this and that, I have heard someone, permit me to laugh. I have heard someone so many years ago. It's somebody I was mentoring on health. So he was driving. He has high blood pressure. This was over 10 years ago. So he was driving and he loves eating banana because banana is said to be good for BP. So he didn't. I wasn't aware of it. But honestly, when the banana dealt with him, he came back from the journey and came to me straight away and said, "We never eat banana again." I said, "Why? Why did you say so?" He said, "If you see what banana did to him." So I'm not saying you shouldn't eat banana. Please do. It's a good one. Even the green banana is, as you get older, the green plantain, what some of you call green banana. I like green plantain, but I don't take it too much. Because when I take it continuously for like 5 days, I'll notice my legs getting darker, because we need to be alert as we age. So once I notice the lower part of my feet looking darker, the skin, I stop it, because it's not a circulatory food. It may be that it's already hindering blood circulation to the feet because it's a resistant starch. So all the healthy foods, we must have a point where our body gives us a signal to stop. Not to stop, to take a break, and then we start again. So bananas are okay. Take green banana in moderation. Sweet potatoes are okay in moderation. Take oats, they are okay in moderation. Food that are not heavy too much. High blood pressure does not like high calorie foods, even if the food is a healthy one. But once it puts a lot of weight on that person, then it's going to give you a negative signal. Then another thing that I'm trying to highlight, some of the things that predisposes you to high blood pressure. And I mentioned being overweight. I've mentioned consuming too much processed foods all the time, ready to eat food. The food I used to love it before, but I tell you, if you want to keep yourself safe as you age, just reduce it. Cook your meals at home. And best of it, sea salt. That's what I use. Since more than many years, that's what I've been using, because of the nutrients in it. Helps you to maintain a healthy blood pressure. Salt is an electrolyte. So if we cannot, focus on anything or discipline ourselves, and let's use the right salt, because salt does not have any place to be stored in the body when it's in excess. And that's why it always creates problem of high blood pressure, because it is an electrolyte. Once the other minerals in the body, other things, nutrients, when there is excess, the body will have a place to go and stock the excess. If the fat is too much, the body will have where to put it. But when the salt is too much, because it's an electrolyte, you may not have a place to put the excess. So high blood pressure will start. So we should be very careful with salt. Salt and potassium, let's take moderately. If you are taking banana, take moderately. So these are the things that can predispose us to high blood pressure. And the way we cook our food, we can have a healthy food like sweet potato and we start frying it, or we buy the one that's fried already. That's not good. If you have a good food, don't fry it. You can take chicken in moderation, don't fry it. But why would you fry it? When you fry it, it becomes more difficult to digest. It carries more, and worst of it, if the oil is a bad one, because most of the oils we see, we think they are good. They are not good. They come with beautiful labels, beautiful commercials, Honestly, I used to be deceived several years ago. When I entered the supermarket, I see, especially during the Christmas and the New Year, honestly, I get confused. Because these oils are so beautifully packaged, sunflower oil, canola oil, so many oils. I used to buy a lot of them. I have tested almost all of them. And I tell you, if you're managing high blood pressure, be careful of the oil you're using. It's one of your worst enemies. Be very careful. And if you're not managing high blood pressure, don't even wait. Just choose your oil wisely. I made a choice of oil so many years ago. I won't tell you the oil, but if you comment, say I should tell you, I will say it. If you say tell us the oil you are using, I will say it. So I will just keep it first. So I've been using that oil for a long time. Because if you don't make good choice of oil, in addition to high blood pressure, you could start having fatty liver. You start having diabetes. Because I have seen a lot of people who are managing high blood pressure and at the same time managing diabetes and at the same time managing all of this and that. Why? Most of them are caused by inflammations. Sometimes the blood is too thick. You know what it means for blood to be too thick? Most people who are managing high blood pressure, when they are being treated, the doctors also give them some blood thinners, especially for the older ones, to prevent the risk of stroke. The same thing with diabetes. And so if you are not on medication or you want to switch to medication, you need to start including blood thinners. And the very common blood thinners, you need to start either taking them as tea or including them using them to cook your meals. Blood thinners, inflammation fighting seeds, spices, ginger, turmeric, garlic, cinnamon. These are the very common ones. Onions, they are very good for high blood pressure. They are blood thinners. So you have to ensure that you include blood thinners in your diet moderately. But if you're already on medication of blood thinner, then you have to decide and work out with your doctor if you want to use the natural one, so that you don't be combining taking of your medication with blood thinning foods. If the blood is too thin, you are going to be having symptoms of stomach ulcers. That is the sign you will start getting, and that's not a good sign. It's not a good symptom. You will even feel more miserable if you are feeling that symptom. A lot of older adults say they have ulcers, but I cannot say categorically, but I know that most of these things we are calling ulcers, I am part of it. There are acidic buildups. A good number of them are wrongly diagnosed by us, you and I. We just pick any name and say that is what it is, when we are not taking sufficient protein in our diet. Then we start saying it's ulcer. Protein is a building block. And I have realized that protein is very scarce in our environment. I don't know about other regions, but I tell you, it's one of the most scarce foods. Every morning you wake up, when you hear people saying, what should I eat? It is because of protein. Because we have enough starches, carbohydrates here. When you look at the cassava, the root vegetables, the sweet potato, the yam, the plant, everything is starch. Even gari, rice, they are all starch. And so you begin to wonder. Some people say they're having a problem with beans already. And so what should the person eat? If you have all this eating. Ifediora, you're welcome. Now you have commented. Let me know. Even though I know you know. You should know. But I'll tell you. With due respect, I will tell you, my dear sister, for that comment. Now, the oil I use, don't mind my taking your time, because it took me a lot of time to make choice of this very oil. Before I settle with this oil, which I've been using for more than 13 years, 13 years, for more than that, or more than 14 years. Before I settled with this oil, I have tested a lot of oils in the market. Then I bought I've used some flower oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, red oil, coconut oil, olive oil. I know their shortcomings, all of them. It's not what I will start saying here. Then, when I did some study and research, I found out that the peanut oil is the closest one, the one from the groundnut, to, in terms of when you look at the profile. Because when you are talking of oil, talking of fats, healthy fats, saturated, non-saturated, polyunsaturated, all those things must be in a good range and balance so that you will not be having issues with either cholesterol or whatever. But after I realized that peanut oil is the one that is closest in profile, I now decided that I want to be using peanut oil. And guess what? Please, I want you to pay attention because I'm telling you my real story, what happened. So I now decided to use it after testing all the oils, and they were not good. They were not good for me. Let me not spoil anybody's business. They were not good for me. So I decided to go for the peanut oil. This organic peanut oil. So I saw a beautiful peanut oil in the supermarket. They wrote organic peanut oil. My dear, I rushed for it and collected it. I collected it and came back home. Very big jar. It was a huge amount I paid. This is almost 9-10 years now. This is almost 10 years that it happened. Because, or more than that, as a matter of fact, it's more than that. I bought this oil and brought it home. I was so happy for the amount that I've bought it. And they wrote organic, beautiful label. That's why I always warn my followers. Don't be carried away because of all the beautiful commercials and labels. Lo and behold, when I used it in cooking, the peanut oil, they drew color pictures of peanuts and everything on it. I used it in cooking, it was highly acidic. So I became very troubled. How did I know? Of course, by listening to my body. If you eat something that's not good for you, you know. Especially when you are getting to the premenopause years. Once you eat what is not good, your body tends to reject it. So it was highly acidic. I decided to throw the oil away. It was very difficult disposing it. But that wasn't all. I now went for the locally produced peanut oil. And that's what I'm using till today. The one that they press directly by the people in the local market. These are aboki. We call them aboki. It will smell like kuli kuli. That's the one I went and bought. That's the oil I'm using till today. And there was a time, let me just tell you, I've been using it. It doesn't make my cholesterol to be high. It makes me feel good. Tastes very wonderful. I mean, it makes the food to taste very well. All the people I have recommended it to, they always be asking to have it. And I'll be directing them to where to buy it. They love it. I won't lie to you. If you buy the oil that doesn't have saturated fat at all, I don't want to mention the oil. You eat the oil, you finish, there will be no energy in you. You will be feeling like fainting. So there has to be a balance of all these polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, all those things have to be at a balance. So that when you eat it, it will support your health, support your heart health, give you energy. So when I bought this oil and began to use it, I continue using it. I've been having normal, everything okay. My body do okay, heart health. I don't have heart issues. But there was a time when I left the location where I normally get it. And I went to another place. And it was difficult traveling to buy it. And it was quite expensive also, buying it from that place, coming down. So I said, okay, let me just leave it and start eating red oil. After all, there's nothing now, nothing spoiled. My dear, it wasn't too long. I began to feel dizzy. So when I tell people, say, be careful of the oil you're using, I know why. So I began to feel dizzy. I didn't go for much investigation because I know that one of the things that makes people feel dizzy, in among other things, is a fatty liver. So I suspected fatty liver. So when that dizziness started, if I walk a little, I start feeling dizzy. If I go a little, this was about 10 years ago. If I walk a little, I feel dizzy. 10 or 9 years, let me say 9 years ago, 9 years. I walk a little because I just want to just forget it. It doesn't matter. It matters, so my dear, your health matters. So I just thought I should just not bother about the oil. After all, what's the big deal? I can use red oil, small, I won't use much. It was then I knew that oil is so important in our diet. So I had to stop what I was doing, stop everything, and go all the way to that place, travel to that place to go and buy that oil, the peanut oil. That one that smells like quickly. I didn't have to enter supermarket. I hardly enter supermarket these days. Even the cashew nut, the groundnut, I will go to the local people that are not doing it in a fanciful way and buy it. Only on few occasions. I'm not saying supermarket is bad, but I was a patronizer of supermarket as a young person. But as older adult now, supermarket is not my best shopping place now. I buy from local markets. Those things that they bring straight from the farm or from the makers, the brewers, the people that, in fact, those people that, so some of them use hands to press it. That's where I normally buy some of these oils to avoid preservatives, to avoid all those stuff that may create acid in the body. So that's the oil I'm using. I hope you are satisfied. That's the oil I use moderately, and it helps with heart. The vitamin E content is very okay, and it makes the food to taste great. I'm talking of that peanut oil. I've recommended it to so many people. Sometimes I help them to buy it. It helps you with your blood pressure, helps you with quality energy. I mean, when you talk of quality energy now, when you have energy that can carry you, that is what we're talking about, fat. So, yes, thank you very much. And so that's about the oil I'm using, and I've answered it. Now, talking about, that is another reason why you must be careful with oil when you are making choice for managing blood pressure, because oil is your worst enemy. If you are not using the right oil, it's going to be difficult for you to manage your blood pressure. So you need to check your oil, even if your BP is not responding, or you want to switch to using food as your medicine. You have to firstly check the oil you are using and make sure that it's a good one. If it's not, change it first before other things. And so there are other things, a few other things also that predispose you. You remember, I'm still talking on things that can make you be at risk. That is another way to say you are predisposing yourself to high blood pressure. We mention all those things, including eating processed food. Some of them come with some of the trans fats, the type of oil that you don't want. Like when they are baking some of these things, they use all this bad fat. And when they enter the body can use it, and it be raising the blood pressure. And so that is about and there are ways of cooking your food. Don't fry your stew if you don't want high blood pressure. There you can cook it, it will taste good without frying the chicken. Christmas and New Year is around, people will be frying. Don't eat outside. That's the last one that can predispose you to high blood pressure. I mean, if I continue, we may not even have time to talk about the herbs and how they can help you. Now, don't avoid eating outside. The moment you discover you are managing high blood pressure, or you are already an adult, reduce it. If they say they want to buy food from somewhere, if you can avoid it, my dear. I know sometimes some of these things are not avoidable. I know what I'm saying. Sometimes we are constrained by certain things. Sometimes it could be health, it could be finance, it could be various things could force us on this earth to eat food, cook. Okay, you're asking, is there any negative effect on one's health if one decides to eat food cooked without oil? Yes, without the right oil. some foods will be poorly absorbed without oil. And when they are poorly absorbed, they'll be giving you gas. And if you do not include oil, good oil in your diet, I've seen a lot of people, older people, saying that they eat this food without oil. A lot. They don't even care. They don't even want to hear any healthy story you are talking. That is what they have come to accept as a healthy way. Because when some people are ignorant, it's very difficult to take it away from them. Now, if you take food without fat, because the cells, the cell membrane, the cell wall, they are maintained, their integrity is maintained by fats, good fat. And so if you do not include fat, you may be having chronic constipation. That's number one. I mean, when the constipation starts, no, when you enter the small, you will not see any sign that the thing want to loosen, because there is no fat, there's no oil. Sometimes you will notice that when you are weaning a child, a young child, when that child has reached a stage to start eating food, maybe you are still breastfeeding the child will be having constipation that will last for 4-5 days. The child will want to poo, you'll be crying. You know what they always advise innocent and young mothers like us then to do? Is to give the child olive oil. Because we used to fear that the child is not of age to take oil, to take food, to take this. But when the body is ready for it, oils, to start to digest the food, to start to work, you know, the child is growing up. Most times, some parents, young mothers, innocent mothers, I call them, they don't know that the child need oil now. So they will still be feeding the child with all these, what do they call it? All these, you know, this food, children food feeding, I don't know, there's a word they use for it. You know, the children feed food that I've made for them, like milk. So you will still be giving the child all those things, all those stuff with breast and the rest. But when it gets to a child, that child is supposed to be having fat, if you don't give the child oil and fat, it could stay for 4-5 days. No go poo. I'm telling you, no go poo until you start giving the child cod liver oil inside the mouth. They'll say, okay, are you giving the child cod liver oil? You say no. Are you giving the child this? You say no. They'll say, okay, go and buy cod liver. The moment you start giving the child cod liver oil, you know, the people will come out. Just take that as an example. Now, those people that I've seen people tell me, I don't argue with them. I don't argue with anybody. I've seen innocent elderly women who are not so learned saying that they know they use oil to eat sosote. And you look at it, they look so dry. I mean, they look more dry. You know, the Bible says that oil make your face to shine. Have you read Psalm 104 before? I can't remember the verse, but somewhere in Psalm 104, it says that the oil make your face to shine. Not only the oil that you put on your skin, but even when you use it to eat, it helps to grease your body, like adding grease, and everywhere will look like, you know, you are shining. Your youth will come out. By the time you stop using the good oil, that's why I advise my followers, and it's what I do, not just advising them, because it's the life I live that I share, to take this fish oil occasionally. I do. Because if you don't take oil, this fish oil, you become very highly constipated and you start to dry out totally. You see someone of my age, 60 plus, and he's looking already, I mean, almost dried out. In order to prevent those drying out, you use oil, good oils and good fats to eat your food, and it will help the food to get properly absorbed. And then to get properly absorbed, and the body will utilize it. Because some food, like all the starches we are talking about, they need some amount of oil, but you use the good oil. There was a day, I didn't intend to say this thing, but I think it's relevant for me to say it because it has to do with what I'm talking about. There was a day I was coming from somewhere, so I saw this roasted plantain that they normally roast, and I felt it looked so appetizing and so good, but not overripe. So I just decided to buy it, and I said, have had enough of groundnut this week, that I don't want groundnut. Of course, I've already done a video that we should not be eating it with groundnut, because as you get older, it looks like some of them are fighting through resistance starch. You eat it and enjoy it, but don't eat too much of it, because after some time, arthritis will start. Is what I have learned. So I just bought it and I said, okay, let me just eat it like that. Honestly, the stomach biting and all the things that, when the thing started to give me sad, because I'm always very conscious of all these things, maybe because of knowledge I already have. Because somebody that does not have the knowledge may just rush and consume everything and start looking for drug and say Bella is worried. Because I have heard people to complain of having stomach problem after eating this unripe plantain. So some of them need small fat, but good fat. If you olive oil eat it, you will enjoy it. So it started giving me stomach, small biting here and there. I threw away the remaining because I knew that it's oil that is missing. So my dear, I hope I've answered your question. That's some of the negative health effects. Apart from physically making you look dry, the food becomes difficult to digest, then become difficult to be absorbed, and at the end of it, giving you chronic constipation. I think that answered your question. I need you to respond so that I know that you are okay. I don't want you to come here and not be satisfied with your questions and with the way I responded. Drop your comment if you are okay with the answer, or I should explain further. My sister, Fedora. So these are some of the things that can predispose you to high blood pressure. Thank you. Okay, you are okay with that. Say thanks. God bless. That justice has been done to that with the first question. So you say you're satisfied. So that there are certain things that can predispose you to. I've talked about sodium and potassium imbalance. So if you are taking medication, you are still taking too much processed foods, a lot of salt, preservatives, it can still predispose you to having the high blood pressure, even while on medication. So there is another one that I need to caution us about. If you want to, carbonated drinks and beverages, go less on it. As a matter of fact, stop it. They are inflammatory. And so you need to stop all those carbonated drinks. You just open and drink. They're ready to eat food, among the ready to eat food. So you need to stop it if you want your blood pressure. If you want to drink something, you can boil hibiscus flower tea. It's anti-inflammatory. It lowers blood pressure. It has iron. It has nutrients. And in fact, if you want it to be even more sweet, you can put pineapple and boil it together. You can add the peas. There are so many things you can add. And it will just be, you can add cinnamon. It will taste good. You will enjoy it. Sometimes you can add ginger. It just to add more, to make the synergy. So you can drink it. Sometimes when I don't drink it all the time because it has some acids too. So it's not something, I'm talking of the hibiscus tea. It's not something you will just be drinking regularly. I take it like once a week, or sometimes 2 weeks, I don't take it. Sometimes 3 weeks, I don't go there. I take sorghum tea. Sometimes I take, what do they call it? I take mistotu tea. No, the body is not something you will just be drinking one particular thing. I said it. The body, like, sometimes I take pomegranate, so I take fennel tea. I don't make tea out of fennel if I feel I want to lose weight. So occasionally I do long throat, I take coffee. I said it before. Okay, you said I want to, third stuff you said, I want to cut all the processed food, but that lifestyle. Okay, where are you writing from, my dear? It depends on where you are. Where are you writing from? Where are you commenting from? Because it's, to me, it's expensive depending if you are living in a, okay, oh my God, Israel. Okay, but I learned that Israel are the healthiest people in the world. Is that true? Honestly, I saw on one video, they were saying that Israelites are the healthiest people, the longest living people. And I saw where the elderly people were running and doing exercise, and they said they eat most of organic foods. So it depends on the location where you are in Israel. That is what will affect it. Because if you are living in the urban area, you know, I was living in urban area, I have to move to a slightly rural area where you have natural something, all these trees. Okay, somebody say what's a pussy? I don't know what that is about. So I moved a little bit and have slight access to some of these things, and it's a good life anyway. But it's not something. It is possible you may not be able to, but with God all things are possible. I'm not saying that, but being in the city, being in a I don't know about that pussy you are talking about. Being in the city, that is being in the urban area, is something. I did a video also about it, that when you are getting to a certain age, if you are up to 45, you are 50, my dear, I advise people the life they should start preparing for, so that they can enjoy a healthy life. And one of the suggestions I made in that video was they should arrange, if they have the finance, to move to the suburb. That is suburb, like you are not living in the heart of the town where you see noise of train, noise of, like here we are, generators. Okay, north side. Okay, you live in the city life in the north side of the Israel. Okay, that is city now. That's why. Maybe over the years, it depends on your age too. Maybe over the years now, some other things, maybe work, other things could move you to a place that is more, you know, where you can have access to most of the natural things. Honestly, it's a good life. Like myself now, when I woke up this morning, I went to the backyard and cut some cashew leaves and ate. Okay, you are still young. Abba. You are still a young lady now. I want to congratulate you for being in this life. Honestly, I wish I can give you something. Because most people, when you are talking about health, like in a session like this, they show the least interest in it. That is the thing. But I'm excited that you are ready, you've already taken the right path. And if you're listening to messages like this, I can assure you, it doesn't matter where you are. Knowledge is power. If you have knowledge that this is what can lead to high blood pressure, you definitely won't be a victim of it. You definitely won't be a victim, because you will be preventing it through the knowledge you've acquired. So that's exactly the point. You don't have to, wait until you're 50 or 60 or old like me with gray hairs before you start looking for information, which is not okay. So you will now be setting your eyes. So anytime you have opportunity to move away, like when you are getting to 50 or thereabout, or 60, like 60 plus, you may now be making a plan, a future plan to move to, if you have places like that, because I know you do. I do watch the videos. I see them in natural vegetations, and I say, this is Israelite people that are enjoying natural food. So that's it. So my dear, what I'm saying is that some of the things can predispose you to high blood pressure, eating all the processed food. But I know that in the supermarket, there are sections where they still sell organic foods, even in Israel. It's expensive, yes. You made the point there. So it's expensive. Most of them are expensive, yes. Very, very true. But those of us here, we can go to the small villages around. They are still expensive, but not too expensive. And sometimes we even farm them ourselves. And so talking about the blood pressure, I'm talking on the things, because it is better to know the cause of the disease. I didn't want to rush and start telling us, say, use this herb, your boil, but while I'm talking, I'm still highlighting some of them. I didn't want to rush, because why will I be rushing to tell you the remedy or the cure when the cause, you haven't stopped it? So you need to attack it and be sure that you remove the cause of that disease, the cause of the high blood pressure. If it is the arteries are clogged, you start eating food that unclog the arteries. Foods like fresh tomatoes, foods like pomegranate. There are foods that unclog your arteries, natural foods. Start including them in your diet. Start exercising to unclog your arteries. Exercising is free. Okay, thank you. So I'm so happy. At least this meeting you attended has kind of put a further force and conviction in you that you will start the plan. And I pray that God will make it happen for you. Because it's when you desire a thing that you begin to, picture it, put it in your mind and begin to look towards it. And I wish to, I pray that very soon that your desire will be granted. It's a desire in your heart. So you will be granted that desire to be in an environment where you have access to nature. That is exactly what I'm saying. Nature, natural trees and vegetations. And if you need a garden around you, you can start to do small gardening around. And then you have less things to buy from the market. But don't worry, you are still age. When I was like you, I was still in the city now, hustling. City is for youngsters like you, not for when you are getting to 50, you start making 45, 50, you start making plans to relocate and be in the village. If you build a house where there are bushes, you go and stay there. So that is it, and you can get fresh air too. No much noise. You want to do anything, you don't have much noise. So the things, let me round it up today on these things that predispose you and I to high blood pressure. So I will just end it there, and tomorrow I will summarize it on that. Then tomorrow I will now talk on the herbal remedies, because I didn't intend to bring in some of the things that were coming in to answer some of the questions and all of that. So because of the questions that were coming in, and I love it, yes. And the beautiful thing is that those questions that came in, all of you that dropped the question, you say you are satisfied. So my desire, my purpose is achieved, and I feel very happy and excited that you are here, and you didn't feel it's a waste of time. That's it. You didn't feel you wasted your time. You are happy that you achieved something which is even very valued. You may not know the value, but I tell you, knowledge is power. Yes, one single knowledge can set you free from so many years of ignorance, because ignorance is a very big mountain. And so you need to start to eat foods. The thing that can predispose you, apart from being overweight, apart from being overweight, eating too much processed foods, which could lead to imbalance between sodium and potassium in your body. And then, apart from that, consuming unhealthy oils and fat, oils like trans fats, all those with beautiful labels and commercials, don't mind them. So, can predispose you. So you need to choose your oil wisely. Don't eat bad oil. Don't allow sodium and potassium imbalance to cause high blood pressure for you. Eat a balance of all of these things. Eat less processed foods. These are the things that can predispose you. If you are in a place where you are eating food that's already packed in the packet, they've already prepared it, maybe the soup is already cooked inside the canned soup, canned fish, canned meat, canned bacon, canned everything, stop it, because it's going to give you high blood pressure. That is it. And then, if you are someone that is always stressing yourself, some people like to stress. Let me tell you, some people don't know how to rest. Some of us, I don't want to say, accuse myself, some of us are victims of it, but we're learning to change. If you are someone that's always trying to meet up with a lot of things, if you start getting to a certain age, you don't have to. You don't mind about who is offended, because people will always, they tell you, come here today, do this one, from office to church, from church to dance meeting, all over the place. You don't have to rest. You are preparing room for high blood pressure. You may be doing them, okay, as you can see. Now, if you may be doing them and be getting away at maybe 20, 25, 30, but when you are getting to 38, 40, my dear, slow down. And the older you get, the more you need to slow down. Okay, this exercising is good, but I often say that we should also do it in moderation. Yes, be moderate about the exercise. I've done exercise that made me sick. I was trying to, do exercise, go waka, go there, walk to that place. In this age now, this 60 plus, I know they do exercise anyhow, and small. Because it will make you, even your skin will not look good. You become even more lean. Because at certain age, as you get older, you begin to lose muscles. And if you become doing stress, it will show all over you. And I pray that we will have made it before we reach a certain age, so that we won't be struggling on what to eat on a daily basis. Because that's what makes people to be stressing out. You get up, you have to struggle to meet up with this, do this assignment, this. So it will place with home, marriage, children, and a lot of other things will place pressure on you. And you try to meet up with everything. And before you know it, high blood pressure. So that is why I say we should also slow down on stress side, so that we will not invite high blood pressure through stress. Because stress makes everything worse. It doesn't matter if it's the one that you say no, that you can't do it, you can't meet up. Because some people find it difficult to say no. Anything you ask them to do, yes, okay, I will do it. You are both the ones, even when the schedule is already tight, no space in the schedule, they will accept it. I must work more. Okay, that's a good advice. How old are you? Okay. This person that you are asking me how old am I, where are you asking from? Where are you writing from? Let me know. I will tell you, but can you let me know where you are writing from? I'm always happy to know. Please just comment the country or the location where you are. I will tell you immediately. So you say you must work more. Thank you for that. You need to train more, train your muscles, and then build your muscles. Start building it. I'm happy you are a health conscious person. I haven't met you, but I'm sure you have already subscribed to my channel. And one of these days now, maybe through the community or that, we'll be seeing, maybe through other this thing, in Madagascar, but live in South Africa. South Africa, okay. You are in Madagascar, but you live in South Africa. Okay. I am 60 plus. I celebrated 60 not too long ago. So I'm someone that you can safely call a grandma, whether you have grandchildren or not. But that's the status. A lot of people are calling me grandma, but grandma is something I think when you attain certain age, you should be. So I am 60 plus. Okay, this person said, I live in Crimea, Russia. Good day to you. Christ is King. Oh my God. Russia, you are here. I want you to be commenting. You see how, you see all of you. And many of you, maybe you don't know where I'm speaking from Nigeria, Ogun State in Nigeria. Please, I have heard from Israel, from South Africa, and from Russia. So you should be glad we are meeting here to learn on the same platform of this YouTube. And then learning about the most important thing about our life, which is our health. Yes, it is what matters most, our health. Spend your time to get knowledge as much as possible on the matter that affects you. Because your health, nothing comes before it. Not even your job. Okay, you're saying, are you afraid of getting old and forgetting things? No, I'm not. Are you? I love that. Please. Okay, please, can you comment? I'm not afraid. Why should I be afraid of? I'm watching from Enugu in Nigeria. Thank you so much. Okay, so I want you to tell me if you're afraid of, how old are you? Taos man. That man, Taos. I cannot pronounce. Okay. So kindly comment. Please kindly comment how old you are to me. My Fediora, you are. I greet you also from Enugu in Nigeria. Yes, you're welcome here. You can see how we are coming together as one family. And I'm so excited for God giving me the grace to lead and guide all of us. Even as God is our main guide, Holy Spirit guiding me. And so I appreciate all of you for the time, for your time. Okay, you're 58 years old. Okay, you are still young. So you're still younger, 58 years young. You are welcome. And so I am, okay, you said my grandma is 75 years old and it's frightening to see her in that condition. Okay, I get what you're saying. Now, let me tell you something. Forgetting things, 75 is still young. Yes, I have been with someone like 80 years, diabetic. In fact, my mother, let me not put it anyhow, it's my mother. So I have been, her brain was sharper than my own. It's not overstatement. She remembers everything. I don't know whether it's a gift or the type of food. Now, if we are getting to certain age, stress and a lot of things rob us, take its toll on us. Now, I tell you, even at this my age, sometimes I start to forget things. I tell you the truth. Sometimes when I notice that I'm forgetting things, it's usually during times of stress. That's why I don't like stress. When you don't sleep well, that brain begins to suffer. So when I notice I'm forgetting things, I usually make some adjustment in my diet. I won't lie to you. I start including animal protein small. I start including animal protein a little because animal protein has complete amino acids. I start adding a little milk to my tea, to my food. Not regularly. I bring in some of the brain foods. There are foods that support the brain, especially fat. If somebody is getting to that age, foods like cashew nuts, peanuts, almond, walnut, omega-3 rich foods, you must make sure you include omega-3 rich food and put fatty fish. Do you consume the hemp food? Is it hemp seed? Please, I want to understand the hemp food you're talking. Now, if somebody is getting old and is forgetting things, you include more fat. Start giving her fish. You know, they sell fish oil. I use fish oil occasionally too. When I start forgetting things, I do notice it. Once in a while, it happens. And like I said, it's moderation. So I normally leave off certain things out of my diet. The only supplement I take, I said it again and again, and I want to repeat. There is only one supplement. I don't take any medication. I don't take multivitamin. I don't take blood tonic. But I take fish oil once in a while. Like in a week, I could take like 2 to 3 times because of my brain. The brain runs on fat. So this is in addition to other fats like peanuts, cashew nuts, and which feature regularly in the diet. A little olive oil is quite expensive. And then coconut oil. Ensure that coconut oil, once in a while, because of the high saturated fat content, I take a little to dab my teeth and my gums so that those little ones will be moving maybe from there to my brain, because the saturation of the fat is too much. It's not, but though they're healthy fat, but it's very good for your brain. If you see way to smuggle fat, healthy fat, into the diet of that elderly, especially coconut oil that has disease-fighting agents like lauric acid, papric acid, and medium-chain fatty acids, you will be so shocked how she will start to remember things again. I'm telling you, just small, because it will, like, since she wasn't used to it, if you put it in her mouth, the weight of the oil will be even frightening to her because the body has not tasted such thing before. But if you start rubbing it on her teeth, because it makes teeth strong, kills all bacteria, the small portion that goes into the belly, the head, the ears is going to be doing a lot because it's a function food. The cold pressed coconut oil is a function food. It helps with the thyroid, balance the thyroid. It helps with insulin resistance. Start consume magnesium and fish oil. Okay, you are talking of now. Thank you, you have become a powerful contributor. There is one supplement I bought recently. It's not up to 5 months. I've not used it before. That's magnesium. But I use it occasionally. As a matter of fact, the bottle is still full. I've used it like 4 times since I bought it. And it's almost 3 months or 4 months. And why did I buy it? I'll tell you, because of my heart. And because of my nerves. When you get to 60, things like nerve-related problem starts to show up. And this nerve, you know that this nerve runs through the whole body, including our feet. So I bought it. And this magnesium, magnesium have different levels, different type of it too. Magnesium sulfate, magnesium this, all this stuff. But the general thing about the magnesium, which I bought, is to help manage, what's it called? To help manage, apart from the bone, it supports bone health, supports heart, because the heart needs magnesium. Then to the nerves, the nerve issue, because that nerve, it can cause a lot of other things, and it helps you to relax because of that distance. So I take it once in a while, but maybe just occasionally. I just decided to add it because as you are getting older, once in a while I take it. I thought taking like 4 since I bought it, almost 3 months. And although it was okay, but I don't like all those factory-made products. I don't like it. Once I take it, my urine, if I have not taken it like for 2 days. But such medications, when you take it, first day, second day, the next thing, urine starts to bring out smell. Because this urine is the one that does most of the cleaning work. And even the liver also is involved when we are taking medications, because they come with other small preservatives. Medication that will expire in the next 3 years, the one I bought. So you can imagine the amount of things they add onto it, even the names of the additives. I can't even pronounce some of them. So all those things put together that they added into it, they are to preserve it. And when it gets into the body, your body will still have to work to remove them. The liver and the kidney are mostly involved. So that's why I don't always like to, take all those kind of things. Even vitamin C, I've dropped it. I used to take it before, once in a while, but I've dropped it. Occasional lemon juice in the water, and the lemon juice is not every day. So I try to, every day trying to, because our body is changing. The body is changing. That is the truth we must tell ourselves. Your body at 40 years cannot be the same body at 60. Do you consult your doctor before having the malnutrition? No, I didn't. No, I didn't, my dear. I didn't consult. As a matter of fact, I don't consult doctor most of the time. I've not consulted doctor for more than 17 years. It may not be good, but you may have something against it. But the last time I normally consult doctor, the doctor self was saying, in fact, the doctor will start telling me his own problem, start telling me his own health concern, because most of the doctors we see, they are quite young. They are quite young, to be honest. And the side effects can be dangerous. It's not it. No, yes, the side effects can be dangerous, so especially things that have to do with respiratory tract. So it's not something you should be taking. It can affect your respiratory tract. Most of these things is something you read and know. Even the doctors, nobody was born a doctor. You read it. I think you are getting my point. It's something you read. You spend your time to do study. So that is how the doctor come about. The doctor went to school and studied it. And so he has information about some of these things. And some of them went to specialize in some areas, which is very good, because our body is very complex. You cannot know everything. One doctor, we have ophthalmologists for the eye, we have oncologists for the breast, we have psychology, physician, every part have its own specialist. But that is quite expensive here. And that is what I'm saying. Because when I was invited to be lecturing at one of our teaching hospitals here, one of our very big teaching hospitals, I was invited about 10 years ago to take over the OPD and be educating them about how to avoid disease. I told the chief medical director that I'm not a nutritionist, or I'm not this, I'm not that. I remember what he said then, that you don't have to be any of this. All you need is information. I will never forget those statements. So if you have information more than somebody else, so what are you talking? It's information you need. And this information didn't just, you learned it, you spent time to gather the information, and then you even analyze it and put it into practice in your own life. So that is it. That is it. So I go to, not as if I don't need. I've been going to doctor in the early years. In fact, I went to doctor too much. There's no, it's not some, I mean, me and doctor 5 and 6. There's a way you will have done something. It gets to a stage when you become their friends. And some of these doctors will open up and, yes, know thyself. They will really open up and tell you. Because looking at somebody of my age, if you bring a doctor of 38 years who just finished from school, he may not even know, let me not say he may not know, but if I tell him what is wrong with me, honestly, he will only do the much he knows and prescribe the drugs that he knows about. But If someone that is about 70 years or 65 or 80 is a consultant physician, if I'm talking, and maybe it's a woman, you may be able to, fathom where I'm coming from, because maybe it's something he has even experienced. And when I talk about menopause, the person may understand what I'm talking about and how it works, how it happens. It's a trying moment for the women. And so, but if you don't know it, that is it. So if I have need to check something, it's good I go for the lab. Go for the laboratory and then see the specialist who knows a particular about the organ that I'm talking about. If it's heart, see it, we check it. If it is ear, the ENT doctor will see it. So that's what the kind of doctor I should be seeing, and the people of our age should be seeing also. Those were the specialists that will look at the organ that you're complaining about, because most of the symptoms is like that. So, not to take all the day, I want to say that the summary of today, if you can make it tomorrow at about the same time, that would be great also, because the thing I really want to talk was the herbs to help to lower your blood pressure. But I only thought also while doing the talk that it will be necessary to highlight the things that can predispose you, and maybe some of us are already in it, so that we can start to withdraw from the cause of that disease, the cause of that high blood pressure, so that we can start to withdraw from it, in order so that when we bring about the remedy, it will just be okay. We'll just be okay. So that is the thing. There are so many remedies. I mean, herbs, spices, seeds that lowers blood pressure with ease. But it's not just about lowering blood pressure. You need a balance of sodium, potassium, a lot of other things, which some people do not know about. And so they keep complaining that the medications are no more working. Maybe the eye is clogged. Maybe there is too much acid in the body. Maybe there is a nutrient deficiency or an imbalance in the diet. Or there is also maybe too much acid or toxins. And then when all these things are not there, you'll be looking for medication and you say the medications are not working. So that is it. You don't have to. The medications will work if you have resolved the problem. You have resolved the problem, that what created the problem. I'm always more interested in what created the problem, because when people come for chat or for follow-up from me, private chat or all those stuff, I often ask, what have you been eating lately? That's it. It's part of it. Yes, it's part of it. But you have to stop the acidic foods. Cucumber can balance. There are food that can balance acid. That's not the subject for today. You don't need to go and do surgery to remove acid. If you suspect acid, there are foods. Stop eating the food that's creating the acid. And then you bring in the alkalining foods. You don't need to take drug. If you are talking about copper as a medicine, I'm not part of it. Maybe I say I'm not in that school of thought. I believe in using food, because it is food that created the acid, and it is still food that you will use to balance the acid. That is how I do, because that is it. You created it. What created the problem was food. So what will solve it is food. And I want to suggest that those of you who are here today, please create time, because the real thing, this is just a tip of the iceberg. The real thing that we are to talk about, the herbal remedies, the common foods to help us We have not even talked about it, and the time is already up. So we haven't talked about it, and I want to appreciate the question that you used to engage me, because is this your questions comment through the comment that actually engaged me, and I could not rush. There was no need rushing to the remedies, because you are the reason that I'm here. So if you ask a question, if it is that your question is all I was able to achieve, I'll be happy that yes, somebody's problem is already solved, because that is the essence. So I want to really appreciate you. And if you know you enjoy this life, I want you to drop 2 people to drop comment and say, I really enjoyed it, so that we can now call it there. I'll be waiting for your comment, please. Just comment and say, I really enjoyed it. It was a good one. Say something so that I myself will know that yes, tomorrow I'll be warming up for another outing. But yeah, go ahead. Let me see first person to comment before we close the curtain, because I'm about to draw the curtain now. Oh my God, God bless you. God bless you. You made my day. My lovely friend from Israel, I really enjoy your lesson. Thank you. And then my friend from Enugu, Nigeria, said, I really enjoyed it. Thank you all. I appreciate you. And I wish you all a healthy body. Sickness will not come near you. You see, 2025, you will not visit hospital for sickness. All those unknown sickness and disease that they will diagnose, they don't know the name, they don't know, it will not be your portion. That's my prayer for you. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe. To subscribe. If you have not done so, quickly do so. I will meet you again tomorrow at about the same time. Bye-bye for now.